Hello, good evening. This is Charity Warima Ngugi-Latz, and I'm talking to you all the way from Germany. And it's a long time since I last talked to you, but now I'm okay. As I had told you before, I have been having some few little problems with my thyroid glands, and that is a problem which is a hormonal problem, and it causes an imbalance in hormones. And so what happens is that you run out of breath, and you get irritated and you can cough. So that is not the reason I'm here. Today I want to talk about isolation. Okay, we know there's the government isolation for the good of everybody. So if anybody has got symptoms of COVID, it's good to keep yourself away from other people for the limited time until you get well, because you don't want to spread it to your family. And of course, to the nation as a whole, it's just being a good citizen. But now we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about isolation uh, as a tactic which is being used by abusers on their victims, on their loved ones. At this particular time, because in most areas there's curfew, even here in Germany, we have curfew from 9 o'clock. And also you have limited people who can come and visit you, maybe one particular person, and it has to be a family member. And so people are very, yes, sort of very lonely. And or if you have a family, then you're more close. You have been forced by circumstances to be more near to each other. But also, this is a time when really, especially if you're in the diaspora, but I don't think it's only in the diaspora, I think for everybody, this is the time when people should be allowed to use their phones, at least to find out how their parents are doing, to find out how friends, to get in touch with one another and find out how the other one is doing. But you find this is the moment when abusers are really using this, taking this as their opportunity to really control and to maintain control and to abuse their loved ones to such a great extent that there is a lot of mental illness right now. There have been so many cases of you people have just gone missing. You can't just get in touch with them. You call, and if the phone is happened to be picked up, if it's I'm calling, for example, my friend, the phone is being picked up by her husband or her partner. And then they tell you she's not in. And you know that she's there. You probably even have seen her going into the house. Or a person is calling maybe their parents or their siblings. Like, for example, I call my siblings, let's say, for example, in Kenya, and somebody is standing next to you and will not allow you to make that call and will even limit your time. And you'll also be allowed only to talk to particular people. Your time is monitored. Your calls are monitored. They sometimes take over your phone. They control everything, your messages. And this is really, really one of the worst kind of ways that you can ever treat anybody, can ever be treated. Just being isolated because another human being has just decided to take total control over your life, to limit who you can talk to, and even to limit the time that you can talk. And even in the daytime, maybe you go to the supermarket, they limit the time. They're on your case. They check the time. Where were you? That supermarket is only 5 minutes away. To do the shopping is only about 15 minutes. I expect you here in half an hour's time. You come late, and that is a reason for you to get a beating. Or even if you're not getting a beating, the worst verbal abuse that you can ever encounter. Now, this is a sort of like a wake-up call. I'm asking those who have got relatives in the diaspora, anywhere in the diaspora, or even if not in the diaspora, if let's say you are in Kenya and your and your children are not in the same area, like for example, somebody's in Nairobi and the other one is in Mombasa, please call them. And if you call 1, 2 times and you cannot get in touch with somebody, you have to insist. Insist that you want to talk to that person. And if you talk to that person, start asking them, are they okay? And if you hear any, or if your instincts tell you that this person is not okay, then you can ask questions like, I think we are not very comfortable this to be able to talk today, isn't it? And if they say yes, then you understand it's yes. And if you hear that they want to get off the phone very fast, you have to find a way and find somebody who stays near them to go and visit and find out what's wrong, to go and knock on the door. During the daytime, there is really not that much of a prohibition, because this is the time a lot of things are going on. And we don't know how long this COVID is going to stay. And this is a time when abusers are really taking advantage to really terrorize the people in the home, even sometimes the children. There's a lot of noise. They want to be treated like kings or like queens. There's a lot of noise in that house. People are walking on tiptoes, on eggshells, and this is not correct. So this, my call for today is to just warn you, or just to ask you, if there is a relative of yours, a parent, a sister, a brother, a child of yours in the diaspora, and you have not talked to them for some time, please don't just assume that they don't want to talk to you. Can you please call them? Find out what's happening. If you can't get in touch with them, then ask one of their friends if you have a number to get in touch with them. And if that person says they have not heard from them for some time, then I think it's very, 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 very important that you go to the authorities and you find out a way. If you call them and their number seems to be mteja, it seems to be engaged all the time, then that is a wake-up call. That is a signal. That is a red sign that something is not right. And if you call them and you find that they are cutting the calls short, they are not their usual self. If they were a very talkative person and a very jovial person, you need to ask them direct questions. Is everything okay? Do you need some help? And if they don't answer and you can hear a hesitancy in their answering, you ask, is a man at home or is a wife at home? You need to ask those questions. And if your instincts tell you that something is not right, then something is not right. We have to start taking care of each other. We have to start taking care of each other. Otherwise, there is a lot of mental health problems which are cropping up right now. And by the time, let's say we don't know when the COVID will ever end, by the time it is finished, we'll have a lot of mental cases. We have to intervene. You have to be your sister's keeper. You also have to be your neighbor's keeper. If you have a neighbor who was very jovial and used to see them all of a sudden you're not seeing them, just knock on the door and just pretend you wanted something. You can even ask for a piece of paper or pen and just observe them. It's very, very important to observe. Even when you meet on the streets, just observe. If it's somebody, please let us just start taking care of our neighborhood. I personally am very grateful. I don't have a problem, but I'm trying my best these days to just keep up with my friends, to keep up with them, to call them, people we used to talk to. If I think of somebody, I call. Immediately I call. I don't say I'll call later, because if I say I'll call later, I'll definitely forget. That is the nature of things. So that was just my words, and I hope you're keeping well, and I hope you're having a nice time, and I hope you're keeping safe also. And it's good we keep with the rules of isolation. It's very important. And do not allow anybody to take your space. Do not allow anybody to give you boundaries of who you are allowed to talk to and who you are not allowed to talk to. This must be a conversation. There must be an agreement. And if you're out there and you know you are undergoing a lot of stress, please, if you have been listening to some talks by my friend DeCaro, she says it's a high time you remove yourself. We don't want to come and remove you as a dead body. Remove yourself. And you don't have to take anything. Go to a safe house. Take off. If you know for sure, you are going through hell, there is no reason to keep you there. We never came with anything on this earth and not go with anything back from this earth. So please remove yourself. It's better to remove yourself and later there is a discussion and a talk. And you can, when you're far away from it, otherwise you're going to drive yourself crazy, or you're going to be maimed, or you're going to be injured, because we have got some very, very dangerous abusers out there. And don't take it lightly. That person, you are not going to change them if they have decided to be an abuser. You better just know that one for a fact. Somebody who doesn't care about your well-being, who doesn't make you happy, who makes you miserable, is not worth your time. I'm one of those people. I don't tell you to stay. I tell you, you have to think of your health. You have to think of your health, because most illnesses come because of being stressed, mentally sat on. So please take care of yourself. Love yourself. We love you, and love yourself. And there's help out there. There are many of us. You can always inbox me on Facebook. It's Charity Warimu Ngugi-Latz. SMS me. Yes, and under this video, I'll also leave my email address. You can always email me. Okay? And we'll get in touch. And thank you, and I wish you a very lovely weekend. Bye-bye.